Hey, professional angler John Cruz here.
Yeah, I'm professional angler Kyle Welcher, and you can see by the writing behind me that we're not in Southeast Alabama anymore. We are completely in Japan, and we got to tour the Sunline factory a little bit so far, and I think we've seen some pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely. You know, this is the world's largest standalone fishing line manufacturing facility, and it is fascinating. There is so much stuff. Let's show everybody exactly how this fishing line is made.
Yeah, some of this stuff will blow your mind.
All right, Kyle, you know, we're here in the research and development, the R&D. This is where it all starts. Before you make fishing line, you got to know what you're making. Right. And they really do their research here at Sunline. It's amazing. They've got 11 full-time people in here testing, researching, they've got all these wild different machines where they're testing everything from the slipperiness of the fishing line, abrasion resistance. They got this apparatus over here we'll show you in a second. Crazy, all the different ways that they can test fishing line, the stretch, knot strength. They got the knot strength machine over here. Every way that you can test fishing line, Sunline tests their fishing line before it's even made, because as you'll show us here in a little bit probably, how they make it is an exact science.
Right.
The moment we've all been waiting for. I found the world's largest spool of sniper right here. There's 17,000 meters on this thing. So they also said this doubles as an aftermarket. You just snap it into your reel, and if you need to cast really far, you got 17,000 yards to work with. But in all actuality, this is a giant spool of line. But what they do is they put the line on here and then spool it off onto some of their smaller spools. So 17,000 yards or meters. It's too much.
You know, hands down, this station right here is the one that gives me the most confidence in the fishing line, because we got to see some zoomed in pictures a second ago. If they do abrasion tests, they break line, they cut line, and they magnify it to see exactly what it is that creates the line's weakest point. You know, and that's super valuable information for us fishing every day, and that's what gives me a lot of confidence, is they're doing that much research just to see what actually impacts the fishing line, and I feel like that's some of the most useful information we could have.
Kyle, this is my favorite test that they do. This is the abrasion resistance test. And so they have different weights down here that they'll put on the fishing line. They'll submerge the line underwater so it simulates exactly what it's like out there while you're fishing. And then they put different resistance abrasion materials, different sandpaper, so to speak, on those. Then they'll run that line back and forth with that weight on it until it fails, right, until it breaks. So they can test line, see exactly how many times, how many strokes it went across before it broke. And then once they do, they can put it on that machine you just showed us, and then you can see exactly what it looked like, and then they can alter the line, they change it, put little differences in it, and see if it's more abrasion resistance, if it's less abrasion resistant. Like that plasma coating we'll see later, how that affects and how much more abrasion resistance that is than other lines. It's pretty wild. I think this is a really cool test.
And it's the coolest, and it's the whole way how they dictate which line perform better in certain situations too.
Right.
That's really cool.
All right, so we got them to prep the abrasion resistance machine right here, and we're actually going to test two different types of line. In the front we have the fluorocarbon FC sniper, the same diameter. Back here we have monofilament or nylon, whatever you want to call it, but this line is submerged underwater, so it's going to give you the fairest test possible in real world conditions. So now we're going to fire this thing up right here, and we're going to see which one actually wins. So without further ado, let's get it underway. 3, 2, 1, go. Close race. They're neck and neck.
Oh, there it goes.
So that was the nylon down, or the monofilament down.
You can see it.
All right, so
Fluorocarbon, finally.
yep,
34 to 26.
34 to 26. And then obviously if you had the shooter, it would actually be more abrasion resistant. So fluorocarbon wins twice in a row.
Yeah, no, it's probably that's close to 25%
Yeah.
more abrasion resistant than the mono. That's wild. You feel it.
That's enough for me.
All right, here we're another step. We're going to show you one of the machines. They use this tensile strength machine back over there in the R&D. Whenever they're coming out with new line, they want to test exactly what it takes to break that line and a steady straight pull. That's what this machine is. They have one over in the R&D, but they use this machine here, Kyle. This is where all the spools that come off production, they test every single spool. They'll run off the end of that line and they'll test the diameter. She's testing that diameter every few inches for that spell of line that they did pull off. They test the diameter, make sure it's perfectly consistent. And they also pull to see if the stretch is within specs of what they want. If not, that spool gets cold, it gets out, it does not reach the line, it does not reach your reel, it does not get any, you have no bad line. They really, really do the extra steps to test this line and make sure it's the best.
All right, so there's no doubt right now in the fishing industry, more people are using braid to fluorocarbon leaders than they ever have before. Spin rods are taking over. And one of the things about being inside this tensile strength testing room is we've got to test some actual leader knots and connection knots against each other. And it's been hands down obvious that the FG knot has tested better. I mean, it's testing almost to the actual breaking strength of the actual line that you're using. So if you want to check out the FG knot, Sunline has an awesome animation on the Sunline website. It's pretty easy to follow. But I get a lot of questions on that, and that's for sure, hands down, the best connection knot for braid to fluorocarbon line.